Several years ago, I made and gave away a free screen pump effect for DaVinci Resolve. I showed that off and gave it away over on Jay Littman's channel, but I was recently reminded of this effect, so I revisited it, added a cool little feature or two, and today I am showing it off here instead. This will be a paid product except for these first 24 hours at release. This will be completely for free for anyone that goes over to sterlingsupply.co and picks it up there. But before I show off this preset, I just need to say, if you are past that date, do not fret. I do have occasional sales on that site, but also on sterlingsupply.co. I have dozens of other free presets and templates for DaVinci Resolve. If you've never looked through those, if you've never looked through the channel, there is lots of other cool stuff there if you don't want to spring for this effect quite yet. Maybe try out some of those free ones and then come back for some of the other ones that catch your eye. Of course, if you pick up this preset, it will be that DRFX format. Just double click to install. And then inside your effects library, effects Sterling Supply Co., you will have this SSC screen pump effect. If you have your playhead over something and you scrub, things will start to get wild. But you can also just drag and drop this right onto any photo or video or anything living on your timeline. You can already see some things get crazy here. Will give us some extra space to work. And we have just this Resolve logo and then this still of Resolve. And that logo starts going crazy. And as you should be able to see, it has this sort of regular pattern. And the first control we have in that inspector is a switch between having this being determined by BPM, beats per minute, or a completely random sort of like value. I'll demonstrate. If I click random, then this instead will just be like that, 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 that. And underneath we have that shake, speed, strength, and wobble. If I pull up that speed a lot, then this will go like That'll be crazy. But we have separate BPM controls as well. Right now this is set to a BPM of 120, so it has that same sort of like da 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 da, and it just keeps going. And I believe this math is still correct. There are plenty of like websites you can go to if you don't know the BPM of a music track, where you can go and actually just like tap along to the beat and it will show you the BPM, and then you can actually type it in here to sync up with whatever music track you are working with. We have easing controls underneath. These are specific for working with that BPM structure. So if I change this to something, you can change up the look of like how much it eases into some of those different screen pump effects. By default, this sine or quadratic one I think works pretty well. And then sort of the main bulk of this effect is all of these sliders or scales and checkboxes here. We have a sort of like master strength slider, but then we have zoom, shake, rotation, saturation, gain, hue, and blur, and we can turn all of those off and then absolutely nothing happens. But hey, if you just want that zoom, boom, ba, ba, ba. If you just want that shake, da, la, la. Or you can stack those on top of each other. You can factor on rotation, which then you can really crank up one way or another. If I put that to something like 30, it goes this way. Saturation, we have gain, so that starts getting brighter. We have hue if we want to shift those colors, and blur if we want some extra blur on top of it. And any combination of these you can toggle on or off. Things can get crazy real quick. And for any individual amounts of these, you can also crank these up. If you have this zoom all the way up to 1, then that will go specifically to zoom. If I turn off that shake as well, then it will stay centered. Ooh, that stretch is actually awesome. That's not the stretch, that's the blur going on. That's pretty cool. And of course, at any time I can change this back over to random and have this extra glitchy texture. Revisiting it to add this like random glitchy texture is directly inspired, and actually a lot of this structure is directly inspired by the Twitch plugin from Video Copilot for After Effects. Blast from the past for the people who know, but it had close to this exact same rig for, like which of these elements do you want to apply, when it shakes, how far do you want to put them. So once again, thank you, Andrew Kramer. But I thought this was a real slick utility, both for these consistent sort of effects, as well as like more sporadic, like random glitchy motion that is also in there. Depending on your production or the video you are editing, if you want something more dependable, like for music, you can toss this BPM option on there. As well, I demonstrated this just on a graphic, but even if you just have like a plain old video clip, a more classic like screen pump effect when it is affecting everything in frame. hopefully you could see the tons of flexibility here, a cool little resource for you. And if you are watching this video at lunch, this video is free. No reason not to go and check it out now before that price hops up a little bit. Link in the description, and obviously if you're seeing this after one video has passed, never fear, it is still available. You know, you just have to support me in the work I do on this channel to get it. So, not sorry about that. I'm super appreciative of anyone who goes over to sterlingsupply.co and looks around all of the presets and templates and plugins there. If you haven't done it in a while, you know, go click around, see what you might find. I think this effect is super cool. Hopefully you do too. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.